week 4, episode 4 of Doc Talk. We've once again been relegated to Phillips House because there's another major tournament going on Chickamauga. Imagine that. What do we got this going on this week?
And before anybody starts, though, no complaining.
It's good for all of us for sure. What's going on this week?
What do we got? What do we not got?
What is the
Dude,
Anglers?
We've got recaps to do
something. No, what's going on to the boat dock? Anglers something.
USA Bassin this week.
USA Bassin. I always want to
got
call it Angler's Choice.
Three tournament trails.
3 tournament trails.
There's one Friday, Saturday. Then they got their oh man, I
There's
apologize.
like
I'm drawing a blank, but it's their
they used to
championship.
call it the Ranger.
They've still got
Cup or
that the
something.
Comanche,
Yeah,
but I think it's
okay.
like Bass Cat or something
Yeah,
now. Now they've got their championship, one of their championship series Tuesday. It's a 1-day, and then they got an aluminum cup or something.
Yeah.
Next Friday, Saturday.
Aluminum series. But I think it's like 205 boats or something in the one starting tomorrow. We've got there's a CBA Saturday. There's a catch tournament. I think out of Grasshopper. Sell Creek Bass Club. A lot going on Chickamauga this week.
A lot going on every lake.
Everywhere.
But,
I was at.
Look, Gunnersville's got a high school tournament Saturday and a college tournament Sunday, or vice versa.
Yeah, I was in Gunnersville today, and I actually talked to a friend of mine this afternoon and told him he was going out on Gunnersville. I said, I don't know what's going on, but there are trucks at every ramp. It's full. They were full all the way up to Crow Creek.
Yeah.
Waterfront, they were parked in the grass. I mean, it was packed. Both ends of the lake were packed, which is good. I'm glad everybody was spread out. That definitely helps. But that's part of what we're going to talk about tonight is the effects of tournament fishing on your local lake. You know, what that has to do. But to start off, what did you watch today on live?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of live. I mean, Bassmaster was live, so I tried to catch what I could of that. Major League Fishing didn't go live till tomorrow, though, right? Because I don't think I saw any of that.
Tomorrow or the next day. NPFL has some live today. I was on the road all day. I didn't get to watch any of today.
NPFL showed out today, son.
Yeah, they caught them. I don't know if when is over yet. We've still got 3 guys showing 0 at the bottom, so I don't know if they didn't catch anything today, or if they haven't finished. 25 pounds, Keith Carson leading. Big bass is 614 or 613 rather. I don't see anybody that had one bigger than that. I see a couple 5-pounders.
There was a couple of guys though that they were showing on when Fat Cat was doing some on the water coverage today. Yeah. There was one old boy, Keith Carson actually, was hunting a big one, real big one.
Yeah, well it looks like he found it. He had a good bag, 25-pound bag, solid bag of fish on any lake. Looks like it took 21 to be in the top 5, 19, 15, so call it 20 pounds to be in the top 10. That's pretty solid.
You know what? Yeah.
That's a pretty good catch of fish.
I may be slightly biased, but my old buddy Bob Burley at 19.4 today.
Bob had a good day. Yeah, he looks like he caught him pretty good. Definitely, I mean, when you're within 5 pounds on a lake where you're catching 25-pound bags, you keep yourself in contention for the rest of the weekend.
And plus, we got the old Bassmaster boys just down the road on Lake Fork.
And did they catch them? God.
Patrick Walters looks like he laid into him.
I think he's actually from Texas. I don't know that he's from South Carolina. I think that's got to be a typo. 32 pounds, 14 ounces.
That's a solid day.
I don't know how he caught him. I don't know if it was a live scope deal again like it was last year. But
I think Buddy told me the other day, though, that they're on a catch-weight release.
Yes.
Unless it's over 24?
They're keeping one over 24 to bring to the stage to weigh in. Other than that, they go straight back in the water.
Which, I mean, for Fork, I mean, that's why Fork is the fishery it is. for that.
Randy, we're at Philip's house tonight. We got kicked out of the boat dock because there's a big tournament meeting going on. Big tournament there this weekend. So
Randy was actually in the store yesterday.
once again, we've been kicked out of the store.
Not kicked out, just didn't want to.
Philip didn't want to work till 7 o'clock.
Well, I don't mind the work because I've done it before. I did it last night, but with everybody coming in and everything going on, we didn't want to have a bunch of background noise and all that other stuff.
So how many guys do you think had over 20 pounds at the Bassmaster tournament? Over 20.
Over 20? How many guys over 20?
Over 20.
15.
36. Imagine catching 20 pounds and you're in 36th place.
Hey, that's stupid.
Cut line is 1810 right now. Brandon Palak had 1810. He's in 49th place. Looks like our Buddy Gross is in 54th, 18.2. So definitely right there around the cut line. Catch a few more pounds tomorrow
Not
morning.
even nothing. Buddy will be. Buddy will probably be in the top 10 with one bite tomorrow.
Yeah, got. Let's see who else we got in here. Lee Livesey, 7th place, 25.6.
But I'm sitting here looking at. Speaking of tournaments, I'm sitting here looking at Major League Fishing on Murray, dude. You see how tight those rates?
They've got to be up on. They've got to be on the bed, and these guys have got them pinned down. Somebody went to their waypoints and caught them today.
I mean, look, there is 5 bags of 21 pounds that are only separated by ounces, and your first place and second place is tied with 21.12.
Yeah,
There's only
for Lake Murray, that's really good.
There's only 3 ounces separating third from first. Technically, there's not a second right now. There's only.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There's some guys in here, and 16s, the 15s, the 14s, and look at the 14s. I mean, I got my old buddy Tim Frederick sitting in 39th with 15.8.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're above that 15-pound mark, you've kept yourself in contention for the rest of the week. 5 pounds can be made up over 4 days pretty easily. Because the guys that caught 21 today, the likelihood of them catching 21 pounds 4 days in a row on Lake Murray.
Which I don't know if you've
not going to say it's not going to happen, but.
Yeah, and just like every tournament you've seen from here at Chick to Pickwick has been that exact same way the past few weeks. Anything Tennessee River, whoever caught 20-something pounds this day is not going to catch 21 pounds the next. It has not happened. And then vice versa for the opposite of the guys.
In a field this big, I mean, you've got how many guys? 160 fishing the pro circuit. If your boat 2 today and your boat 158 tomorrow, big difference in the water that you get to fish.
What's up, Cal Coast? Jamie.
From the Dead Sea. Where you at, Jamie?
He's referring to probably Allatoona in Georgia.
Oh, woof.
But they've actually been catching them decent there. Jamie actually, now you're going to laugh at this.
Taking 11 pounds to win instead of 10.
Jamie actually just bought his family has gotten more into fishing here lately, his boys. And, but they're not so much into bass fishing like we are. So he said, I want a boat we can cruise on and fish on. So he found a pontoon that has fishing chairs. Yeah. And they're not just fishing chairs.
Captain's chairs.
They're freaking captain's chairs. And he's been wearing, he needed to break the boat in, but he's also been wearing some spotted bass out.
Now, that's the way to do it on if you're going to fish on the front of a pontoon. I had been down there one time.
He said we should do a dock talk from the pontoon sometime.
Maybe if we move it up here, if the pontoon's
Well, no, the pontoon will be here pretty soon.
Oh, okay. He's going to have it over at the lodge.
Yeah, he's going to have it at the Walker Lodge at Lake Chickamauga Reynolds.
I've been to Altoona once. I'm not in a hurry to go back. I've got a really good customer down there. And I pulled my boat down there one day. I went to see him early one morning. I was down there on a Friday. And so I'm going to go down there and work him that morning. And then I'll go to Altoona that afternoon and check it out. And I was down there. And he said, what are you doing with your boat here? I said, I'm going to go to Altoona when I get done. He said, why? Did they drain Chickamauga? I said, no, I just figured I'd give it a shot. It'd be fun, it'd be fun to try something new. And You just go home.
Just go home.
Just go home.
I'm not going to knock it. I mean, I've been there once.
It seemed like it'd be a fun place to fish in the spring. Now, I've had some friends fishing before. They said early in the spring you catch them pretty good.
Yeah.
And I love catching spots. So maybe I'll brave it. Yep, Jamie Cozer and Craig at the dugout. You can't do nothing with Craig. Jamie's pretty good, but you got to watch Craig.
You know, we also had the. I didn't get to keep up with it as much, and I do apologize to some of my buddies that fished it, but we had the Douglas Lake Open.
And they caught them there.
They did. The weights were like
the
the weights were like stacked. I mean, so any guy that finished from 20th to 50th,
1 ounce separated to get the.
So you can't. Nobody had a bad tournament if you finished inside the top 80 in that tournament because it was so close. There was just nothing you could do about it because they were fighting, and that's what sucked about that one. You know. But that's just this time of year. That's why everybody wants to fish in early April and May because it's shad spawns are starting. Like I had my buddy call me Sunday from Logan Martin, and he goes, "Are you home this weekend?" I said, "No." And he was sending me videos of his wife, not him, his wife on the front deck of their boat who just started fishing, wearing out some 2 and 3 pound spots like it was nothing on the shad spawn.
Well, they already got a shad spawn going on.
Well, it's Logan Martin, you know, and honestly, I'm normally there this time of year with my buddy Jerry.
If I was going to go to Logan Martin,
my buddy Jerry is watching now. Every year, which my dad and I did it for years now, my buddy and I, Jerry, I just turned 40 the other day. And this is the first time in like 25 years I didn't fish on my birthday. And we always have done it either on Logan Martin or I've been at the beach or saltwater or somewhere. But it's either been Logan Martin or Lay Lake. And I always want to do April. Well, 1, it's my birthday, but 2, because of the shad spawn.
Yeah.
So I missed the shad spawn.
I can't believe this, as cold as it's been. I mean, we had a massive cold front roll through this morning. It was frozen at my house. It's 29 degrees.
It was 30 here this morning when I left.
It was pretty rough. Back to the Open. A lot of the stuff that we saw was pretty normal. Wacky rigs, jigs. What a surprise at Douglas Lake. Everybody calling one jig and wacky rig this time of year.
Shocker.
Context style swim bait. You know,
Understand.
Whatever. Insert your brand that you're sponsored by here with their ring swim bait. There was some different stuff though. 2 guys in the top 10 were throwing a 6XD in chartreuse blueback. Deep cranking this time of year. Pre-spawn.
There's no way I'd be deep cranking this time of year.
The best day I ever had on Lake Eufaula was in March, and it was warm, and everybody was up shallow, and I caught them on clay points on a 6XD, and I caught 4 and 5 pounder after 4 pounder, 5 pounder, 4, and it was the best day I ever had down there. It was great. It's the first day I ever had over 20 pounds bass by myself.
Deep.
On a 6XD in late spring.
Just like that conversation we had the other day about my fish on the wall there from West Point Lake.
Yeah.
Most people hate that lake, especially Georgia, Georgians, if that's what you want to call them. But a 5XD and 4 foot of water, bouncing it off riprap. And that's how I caught that fish, and that's how we finished in like 3rd place in the tournament. Love that lake. Every time I've been there, I've had a good time, but it's always been in April or May.
Yeah, that time of year you could see it. I was kind of surprised to see the 6XD play. The bigger line through swim baits.
I hate line throughs.
You know, congratulations to I'll butcher his name, Dasuki Aoki. I guess is the guy's name.
I'm glad you said it because I couldn't.
Drew Benton finished 2nd, and 13 of his 15 fish came on a Scottsboro tackle line through swim bait. Tongue hooked one, 4 ounces, cost him the tournament.
Oh, Baxter.
Hey Kevin, how's it going? Good to have you. Now we've got a real superstar in here now.
Baxter, we got to get you on this show sometime, brother.
Randy Blockhead wants to ban fishing podcast. Well, tell Randy that he is welcome to come on the show, and we'll UFC style it.
Randy Blockhead also wants to ban anything with a graph.
So now we're banning, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but so now we're going to ban tournaments during the spawn.
Yep.
Which we all know lasts for
ever
3 months around here.
Yep.
Because it's 80 degrees and then 30 degrees. And now we're going to ban summertime tournaments. So when are we gonna fish?
You're not.
In December? In January? I guess you're never gonna fish in Florida because they spawn and then it's hot.
They spawn like twice a year down there.
Yeah.
That just
That blows
I
my
like
mind.
old Randy
I
Brockett,
can't
but
get on. I can't get off on my tangent too bad.
yeah.
I don't want
We
to
don't
mess
need to get
with
sidetracked.
with the
We got
Fujifilm guy.
way too many other things to worry about tonight than Randy Block.
The bigger line through swim bait was a big player over there. Like I said, Drew would have won the thing if not for a dead fish penalty. Tongue hooked one.
That one, it took me a minute to realize what he was doing when they said that he, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized what he was doing.
Mag draft.
Yes.
Guy throwing the mag draft.
Yeah.
Interesting thing I saw, the guy took the weights out of one of his mag drafts. Kevin, you might have seen this before.
Wait.
You're the bait guy.
He took it out of the mag draft, but the mag draft already.
It has an internal weight.
I know, but it already is a very shallow bait anyway.
Right, but if you take the weight out, you can really leave it slower.
It's like floating.
Yeah.
You're like not even turning it at that point. Because if you give it one crank too much, it's going.
Yep, took the weight out of one of them. Had one heavier one lighter one. So kind of a 1-2 punch on that. I can't remember the guy. It was a younger guy that did that. I thought that was pretty interesting. With the owner, we have the beast hook now in multiple sizes. We make a lighter one. We make a heavy one. Yeah, because everybody wanted the heavier one.
Well, yeah, the heavy
Buddy
one
was a big part of that to get it down deeper. The lighter thing's really, which we make unweighted, so you can see that. But I thought it was interesting. Basically, made it to a rising sun. Now that is, Kevin, we need you to delete that. Everybody doesn't need to know about that rising sun. That's a heck of a swim bait. I've caught some big ones on it out here. That's made by 316 little company. That's a good one.
Well, I hate to say it, but I actually may or may not have just gotten a few of those in.
Yeah, those are really like that one.
Actually, technically, they got Michael's name on them, but
Well, Michael's not here.
Somebody offered me enough money for them, I'll sell them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nah, I'm just kidding. No, they're for the store. We're gonna try them out.
Hair jig. Hair jig was kind of weird. I can't remember who it was. Somebody finished in the top 10. One of the baits they had was a hair jig. Yeah, and a big hair jig, like a preacher jig, not a
summertime.
not a floating fly. Yeah, like we would throw out here. Like a Big Daddy's hair jig, and a glide bait. Glide baits have picked up popularity, and they started carrying a few in the store.
Still have yet. I've got an S-Waver from
Yeah.
in my little fishing closet over there.
If you ever get into it, it is the most addicting type of fishing you can do. I absolutely love it.
I know.
You go out here and kill them with it in the fall.
I don't even have a rod that would handle one of those right now.
Well, that's why we got to get you in some decent rods.
I got some decent rods.
But yeah, the glide bait this time of year can catch you some big ones. There is a person on Chickamauga, I won't call him out, that has been catching a lot of his big fish on a glide bait this year, and he almost let the cat out of the bag the other day. Some of his big ones this year have been coming on a glide bait, early year fishing.
Do I know who you're talking about?
Yeah, you know him. Catching them real well. Real well.
No.
Bigs. Jaints, as some people call them.
No.
They're catching jaints on a glide bait.
Janks. Got old Rob Moore watching with us. He's a CBA hammer.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin said a lot of guys modify the mag draft, put the owner beast into 8-inch, make it slower. I have seen guys use it on the freestyle.
Okay, I'm about to say, but is that not the purpose of the freestyle?
Yeah, you can use the freestyle like that.
Because I mean, it's still the mag draft, but it's just without the treble and the magnet and all that other stuff.
So it's a little bit.
I've just gotten into the whole mag draft thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I've never been a big mag draft guy, but that's because I'm very beholden to the Scottsboro tackle. Tim's been a friend of mine for a long time. I've thrown his baits since they started.
I mean, I love them. I love the Spark Shad. I love the Okashira head.
So
the Okashira head. That's just I'm a finesse guy anyway.
Yeah, I know and I love throwing a Ned rig as much as anybody, but when they get on that big swim bait.
Speaking of, I've got a new Ned rig rod I need to show you.
That's the when they get on that swim bait. That's more fun to me. I'll throw it all day. Like I said, especially this time of year, I love throwing a soft swim bait, but I do like throwing a big glide. You can get a kicker bite. And I think that's what a lot of somebody did it up north last year in one of the tournaments.
You know what?
I don't know if it was. I think it was Palaniuk. It was either Palaniuk or Zaldane, one of those
Probably.
guys that pulled into a cove,
Probably.
maybe on the St. Lawrence, and caught a big one at the end of the day on a glide bait. And you see some guys, you've seen them throw them heavy hitters. I think it was Adrian Avena caught a big one at heavy hit at not heavy hitters. What's the one Michael almost won? The big fish one that they just fished.
That was heavy hitter.
Heavy hitters. I'm thinking of red crest. Heavy hitters, not red crest. Heavy hitters. They caught a big one on a KGB. But yeah, like I said, yeah, I think that's pretty good. We were talking about some of the guys catching big ones over here.
Yeah.
On a glide bait this time of year. So that's a little bit different than what we're normally doing this time of year.
Well,
and
yeah.
I think part of that has to do with tournaments on this lake. Every week that we're on here, it seems like there's a major tournament of some sorts going on around here. And
we've got some sort of complaint.
Yeah, there's been a lot of complaining about that on some of the local fishing forums.
Well, I mean, I hear it in the store.
You hear it in the store, yeah. I hear it from my customers. And I think there's good and bad sides to it.
But you're going to hear it literally anywhere you go this time of year. I mean, like,
you're gonna.
Matter of fact, right here,
Lake
Big Bass, which is the Harris chain, visit Lake Florida. Do you know how many tournaments they've probably got going on every week down there?
You know where you're gonna hear it though? On lakes that fish well.
Harris chain, Chickamauga,
Okeechobee, Gunnersville,
Pickwick,
Fork. Nobody on the Sabine River complains
now here
about
lately,
tournaments.
O.H. Ivy has like.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We're not even going to get into that one, but I had to throw that one in there.
O.H. Ivy, yeah. I mean, it's just
And after what I've seen on the NPFL, Wright Patman is probably going to start getting. Which, by the way, sidebar here, real quick. Wright Patman. This is the first time a professional level tournament's ever been held on Wright Patman.
Yeah, so
to my knowledge,
I think we looked back during the first episode to see if we could find any kind of history.
But that's all.
There's been some BFLs there several years ago, but there was nothing to know. And people said, they're gonna catch them when they go out there. There's gonna be some big bags of fish weighed in.
All right, but not to get sidetracked from that. I know we had to, we sidebarred a little bit, but there's good and bad with all these tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a good. I think it's a lot more good than it is harm. And I was talking about this
Well, you have to look at it from an economic standpoint.
Yeah, well, just from a strictly economic standpoint, there's nothing but positives. I mean, if you break down a guy that comes into your town and how he spends his money, if anybody that's fish out of town tournaments knows this, you go somewhere, you pay for a hotel, it's going to be roughly $100 a night, somewhere between $80 and $120 a night normally. The city of Dayton is going to make about $15 off of that from the lodging, occupancy tax and stuff. So every room for every night, you're going to make
$20.
$10 to $15 to $20. So,
but then it's even more for people under the VRBO, resort.
And they still pay taxes.
Call it a resort tax is what they actually call it. But and then the store taxes. What stores have to do, restaurants have to do, alcohol taxes.
So because everybody knows when a bass fishing tournament comes in town, you better be stocked up on Busch Light and Keystones.
Lattes.
So that affects everybody, all the way from your. You take a business owner like Michael Neal. Obviously, he's going to benefit because he owns a tackle store.
Yes.
It's on a lake.
Yes.
Gunnersville Tackle,
yes.
Scottsboro Tackle, all these places that have tournaments, they're going to benefit. But it also benefits Carabelle's and Monkey Town Brewing
and
local restaurants, Momo's Barbecue, or is it Momo's
Barbecue?
The barbecue place up there that's really
Delia
good.
is a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, all those places are going to have tournament fishermen at them every night, and Gunnersville is.
The Boat Dock and Grill, our restaurant.
Yeah, the Boat Dock.
I mean, granted, yes, we are at the water, but you got to think we're normally open till 2:00, but we do stay open till later during tournament weekends.
Yeah.
Well, our kitchen manager Judy has been working nonstop because it's been nonstop tournament. So you can't tell me we're having to do where we normally do 2 orders a week. We're doing 3 to 4 of like supplies, I should say. Where normally I'm doing 2 orders a week. I'm doing 3 to 4 in the store for stock. So you can't tell me it's not benefiting.
Oh yeah.
And there's people saying, well, we've got unpaved roads and this, that, and the other. Well, take that up with your city council. Because if you're not seeing the benefits of it, there's something wrong.
Well, there's a lot more to it than just they're not going to take every dollar of that and go pave your roads. But take Gunnersville, for example. The park at Browns Creek has been updated. Allred's boat ramp has always been a mess.
Yep.
There's one lane to put in. It's one of those popular ramps on that end of the lake. We used to have to park down the highway in the grass. Now they have a big paved parking lot. They put in another ramp.
Yep.
They redid the dock. It's really nice down there.
Well, okay, look at ours. We've gotten the money to dredge out the
Oh,
river.
yeah. I mean, the new berm and everything out there is awesome.
But here's another perfect example of this whole situation. Logan Martin Lake. The city of Lincoln has invested almost $10 million to build a tournament grade boat ramp. This thing's going to have 10 lanes.
So it's going to be an Ingalls Harbor type.
And it will hold 230 boats and trucks. Yeah. All right? And it's got a damn, pardon my language, it's got a 1,400 foot walkway that you can nose your boat up to and get out of your boat.
Yeah.
So don't sit here and tell me you're not seeing the benefits of these tournaments. Now, yes, granted, it does make it hard to get these ramps, and they're having to figure out other things, blah, blah, blah.
And the infrastructure will follow. I mean, it's
eventually it will start trickling.
Look at Smith Lake. And Smith have you been to City Park over there?
Well, Smith Lake Park has updated twice in the past few years because of all the tournaments. Look at what they're doing at the dam. They're building a pavilion, the whole 9 yards. Now, granted, right now the dam's still closed because the water's 27 feet.
Well, yeah, if they would get some. If they had a spillway bigger than that Yeti top,
and I tell you, to this day, one of the best parks, McFarland at Pickwick. That was one of the OG.
Yeah, McFarland's really good. The best one in my opinion is Ingalls Harbor at Wheeler.
I would probably concur.
That's the best one that I've ever been in a tournament.
I'm not going to argue with you.
But it's newer than McFarland. You know, it had the benefit of being built after that. And everyone's going to get to see what the lake before them did wrong. Now I know there's some bad parts to it. It's tough on your fishery.
It is, but that's why you have TWRA.
And I think we're getting better about live release boats where we don't just take them down to the edge of the water and throw them in the water and hope they live. You put them in the boat, you take them out and they dump them off down the lake. Boat ramps are more crowded, but like we talked about, boat ramps are getting bigger.
Well, I mean, that's like ours. We updated before,
Well, now with the new area, you can put in a second ramp. So you got another 2 ramps.
Technically, we have 8 ramps. Yeah. 8 slip, or, 8 lanes. We'll just call it lanes.
That you get. So I mean, there's a lot of. I know there's a lot of controversy over it right now.
You could almost flip a quarter and just decide which end of that controversy.
I told a guy this the other night, and I didn't get a response. They wanted to limit tournaments. Okay, let's limit tournaments. Number one, who's going to do it? The mayor, the sheriff,
the county,
the county commissioner. Well, so what happens when the county commissioner's buddy from church says, "Hey, John, we want to have our tournament here." Okay, well, we'll let you have your tournament there, and he gives the slot for Saturday to his buddy's tournament, and then a high school tournament comes in.
Well, it's all
they
about
get turned away.
Whose buddy's whose buddy?
Exactly. So I can see the headline in the local newspaper now: local high school tournament denied because 14 boat Fruit Jar wanted to have their tournament on Saturday. How do you think that would go over? How do you think that makes us look as a fishing community? We've talked about that before. You know, we've got to help grow the sport, and you're not going to do it like that.
No, and that's, a lot of places make you file for permits and this, that, and the other, but that still falls along the same lines of what you just said.
Yeah, and I get the permit thing, but I don't like it.
Like Jamie just said, research shows $1,100 per week.
$1,100
per week spent per angler.
Yeah.
All right, so divide that up between the tackle store, the gas station, the hotel.
So double that. For this tournament, double it per boat.
Because, and then a lot of these guys are also fishing the other tournament we've got going on Tuesday. Yeah. They qualify for that one. So let's just call it $1,100 for that 4 days, and then they're going to be here another 3 or 4 for that tournament. So you're talking about two. Let's just call it $2,000.
Yeah.
Per person.
So $4,000 a boat.
$4,000 a boat.
And they're probably not spending quite, per boat, it's going to go down a little bit because you're going to share a room, that kind of stuff. But still, you're looking at a $3,000 per boat influx of capital to your local tackle store, restaurant.
So if
So
you're
the lady
not
working down
seeing,
there, that's the waitress at Waffle House, instead of having 3 tables, she's going to have 6 tables. She's going to double her amount of tips. She's going to make more money. That's going to help everybody out.
Let me show you from my perspective. All right, I work in the tackle industry in a retail store. You sell tackle to the industry. All right, I want to start getting back into tournaments again. But I also love what I do, and I love being able to talk to people, meet people from all over the country, and sell the tackle. I get to sling it all day, every day, and we've been wide open the past month and a half. All right. All right. So I take that time off to fish tournaments. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff. All my employees are great. A lot of them no fishing. Some of them just not as much. But I love being able to talk to people because the more you can talk, the more they can buy. And I hate to say that, and I hope nobody takes offense to that, because if somebody talks to me, I'm more likely to buy something if somebody actually spends the time to talk to me about the product. That's why I try to test everything I've got in the store. Just like you and I were discussing the Owner Blockhead.
Yeah.
I love that thing because I've tried it recently.
And you sell it because you use
just like some of the fishing rods and reels that I use. I'm a big Cashin fan, but I've also tried everything I've got in the store. I can't sell it if I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I can be like, oh, well, so-and-so bought it. Well, who cares if so-and-so bought it? How have I done on it? How have you done on it? That's my whole thing.
And people want to hear that. They want that information. They want to feel comfortable with what they're buying. Like if I went to Texas and fished, and I was going to go to a local tackle store and buy something, I want to know what the guy that won the BFL last week caught him on, because that's probably what I'm going to want to fish too, because I want to catch those kind of fish.
Like I had a guy in the store today, perfect example. I had a guy in the store today that found one bait in his boat and one left in the pack. I don't remember what it was, reaction invasions or something. And he said, I was going to see if y'all had it. And I was like, oh man, I hadn't seen that in a long time. It's a bait that actually doesn't, I don't think was made anymore. But he's like, man, that was the only thing that I caught fish until they wore it out. And I'm trying to find something similar on it. I'm like, and so I spent my time trying to help this gentleman see if I could find something. You know, and even started looking at suppliers, you know.
People remember that when they come back to town, they're going to buy.
Oh, Brian Hatfield calling us punks.
Well, I mean,
we didn't get to smash some right Patman fish like you did today, Brian.
Brian kept himself in competition.
Yeah.
If you caught him on a swim bait, I need my 10%, man.
10%.
I need my 10% of that. I won a tournament out here with Brian one time. Drew him in a tournament. I had the best day I'd ever had on the lake. Throwing a big swim bait.
Big Day was probably throwing his old booger spin or the hair jig today.
He was throwing a hair jig that day a little bit. Throwing a crankbait a lot. Throwing a hair jig too.
Did you see?
And a modified hair jig.
Did you see the other night? What was it the other night? About old Trip.
Yes, and Trip got inducted into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Trip. It's very well deserved.
Beyond well deserved.
I think a lot of Trip. I think he did a great job for years. I fished with his son when we were at Alabama. His son's my age. Ben and Hank, his older son,
who runs a lot of the high schools,
very instrumental in getting the Alabama Bass Fishing team started. Getting some of the back then it was Under Armour College Series started. Their family has done a lot for the fishing community. Trip done an amazing job. I think he was around bass for like 20 years
or more.
Yeah, so he's been there for a while. Had a big impact on a lot of people.
TD for 20 years.
Yeah,
he's probably been behind the scenes for
40. He's been doing this for a long time. Congratulations, Trip.
Beyond well deserved.
Nobody deserves it more. I hope he's doing well. I did not know the other 2 gentlemen that got inducted this year. I wasn't familiar with them, but definitely everybody. If you've been in bass fishing,
honestly, I looked at them, but I didn't get a chance to research what all they've done. So I mean, I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, we've been kind of busy.
So we've got another highlight for the week: the tackle store. Tackle store of the week.
Who we got this week?
Guntersville Tackle and Outdoors.
GTO.
GTO has 2 locations now. There's, they actually bought
Didn't
Waterfront.
know that.
Um,
They bought Waterfront?
yeah,
Like the grocery?
yeah,
Really?
yep.
I've,
So if you've been in
I've
Waterfront,
eaten, just like our store, I've eaten a mini of biscuit and bought a mini of bait.
and I can tell you the food there is just as good as it was 10 years ago. The tackle selection at that location is beyond ample for what they've got everything
You're
you're
biased.
looking for.
They've got a lot of your stuff in
They
there.
do have a lot of my stuff, but they have a lot of
They
other
do have a lot of
stuff.
everything in there.
Great crankbait selection, great plastic selection, a lot of reaction.
They're all
baits,
good people in there too.
Good,
Really
good folks.
people.
Real. Paul and Jana Ponder on the store on both locations. Paul's had GTO for 3 years now. Had Waterfront for a year. I think the original GTO was there for 10 or 11 years. They're down in Browns Creek. If you're down that way, if you fished at Guntersville, there's a 99% chance you've been in one of their locations. Like Philip says, a great place to eat lunch, eat breakfast.
Well, that's actually one of my favorite places to put in Mid Lake. I
Yeah.
call that Mid Lake.
Yep, and that's where I was talking today when I went by. They were parked in the grass, and there were people parked there.
I mean,
We've actually got there's some new developments going on at Waterfront that we can't really release right now. But safe to
You
say
holding out on me?
it's going to be somewhere that you're going to really enjoy having your tournament out of in the next year.
he's holding out on me,
A
people.
lot of more on that later. Not something we're really ready to release now, but going to be a premier destination for tournaments to go. And that's good because basically right now you have Goose Pond or Browns Creek. That's where you're going to run your tournament out of, or you're going to launch where you want and then have it out of City Harbor.
Well, like my buddy Jerry that I fish tournaments with back home, Bucky Howe is one of our favorites. A lot of people are like, "What? What is Bucky?"
Oh, it's State Park.
No.
The
State
ramp
Park's-
back behind State Park.
Nope.
Isn't that it?
Mm-mm. Nope. You know, right there when you cross the bridge going up, is that 431?
At the dog food plant?
No, that one is. Oh, why do I draw a blank on that one? No, but that's not a big ramp. That one can only hold like 10 or 15 bucks. No, this one is if you're right there, you cross the water, the causeway. Wenzel's is on your right, and you.
Oh, it's Spring Creek where.
You turn left.
Oh
right there,
yeah,
that
going
ramp,
like you're going on top of the river.
Bucky Howe or whatever they actually call it.
Yeah, it's just the back
like
of
one
Spring Creek.
Yes.
Yeah, we just call it the back of Spring
Yes.
Creek.
That is probably one of my favorite ramps, but it's either
That's
Browns
where they
Creek,
have.
it's either Browns Creek Ballpark side or Browns Creek, whatever they call that other side.
Yeah.
I don't like the other side
That's-
because I'll be honest, I've seen too many vehicles get broken in on that side. But the ballpark side is
Yeah.
pretty much your go-to because they built that new weigh-in.
Well, we used to
pavilion.
call it either the ballpark side or somewhere on the lake side. Somewhere on the lake doesn't exist anymore, but there't some people out there that know about somewhere on the lake. That used to be a really fun spot.
Well, you know, I'll be honest. Browns Creek Bridge.
No, yeah. We
All
just
right,
want to
so I guess if you go under the bridge, if you put in at the park side, you go under the bridge. I guess that's
you're in
technically.
Spring Creek. You're talking
No.
about Spring.
You so you put in at the park or Browns Creek.
At the ballparks. Okay.
And you make that long idle, and then you can go right to 431 or the big bridge, or
Yeah.
left to go under Browns Creek
Yeah,
Bridge.
go into Browns Creek.
That is actually Browns Creek. That's what I was
Yes.
getting at. All right, sorry, but
Yeah.
so right there was throwing an old jig. That was the first legitimate jig fish I think I ever had right there, and it was like a 6-pounder
That
in
bridge.
a little night tournament a few years
You
ago.
can't drive over it now without seeing 2 or 3 people on it. But they, like I said, they've got a store on the other side of Browns Creek on the Arab side, down there past Guntersville Boat Mart. That's the bigger of the 2 stores, probably as far as selection. A lot more rods and reels at that one. Probably just as much tackle.
I didn't even know that
doing
they had done
waterfront.
waterfront, so that's good to know.
They've got live bait at both locations. They do a great job. Paul and his wife are great people, good customers of mine, but good friends of mine too. So we wanted to give them a
Jamie,
shout out and say if you're down that way, go in and see them. Tell Paul that Michael McLaurin sent you in, and he will appreciate that. Try to help our
He might
guys
kick you out too. So
He'll probably charge you double for everything, but he'll get a kick out of it.
Well, Jamie, I know I do say a rod, a reel, AFCO rain suit, or a bunch of tackle every time you come in, but you're one of my favorite.
Well,
pro.
you always need one. I mean,
yeah.
I'm about to buy another AFCO rain suit. I love my Hydronaut.
I tell you, that new one, that new Triton has
heavy.
been.
I'm not gonna get that one. There's another one.
Oh, you saw that one.
Yeah.
You saw it. That one y'all see soon.
Yeah.
We can't discuss that one.
More
Kind of
on
like
that
Michael
one.
holding out on me in this waterfront update.
Uh,
But also something from last week. We got to pick a winner, the American Baitworks winner.
we got to pick a winner. So
We might need to.
I put it in earlier on a
Did you use
randomizer, and if you give me just a second, I'll get to it.
All right, I think I'm looking at the same thing. But we do appreciate everybody sharing and commenting on that one. That makes a big difference because we hope y'all are enjoying the podcast. Our whole thing about this is to not be like every single podcast, to cover more of what y'all want to hear and some stuff
And what
may
we
not,
want to talk
but
about.
What we want to talk about, But we love being able to interact with you guys is our main thing, and so make sure you do share this with everybody each week, or subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to follow us on YouTube. Doc Talk presented by Shot Time Productions. We've got a lot of great locations signed up because, granted, we've done them at the boat dock, we've done them here at the house, but we also don't want to be stuck in that one spot. We want to cover locations. We want to try to hopefully be able to even do it from some tournaments.
I'm going to do it from the other side of the country in 2 weeks because I'll be in Idaho.
Because this old boy's going brownback fishing. You're going to go
We're
to.
going to catch some dinosaurs.
But that's our whole thing. We want to cover everything. Just like we want to try to get with local people from each state, whether it be a guide or just a local angler that will help give us a fishing report, what they're doing, what the guide's doing, what the tournament trails are doing.
We've got a couple of guys ready to do that. We've had
Well,
Philip and I both had kind of crazy schedules. I have 2 children that are under 13 months old. Philip has a tackle store to run, and employees to keep up with. So
this podcast is our way to kind of unwind through the week.
It's nice. It's something to look forward to. So the random number that we drew was 8. So I'm gonna go over to the list of people shared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brian Taylor.
Brian Taylor,
you're our winner. If you will shoot us a message, we will send you
BT Bike Club soap.
Your American Baitworks.
See, there's somebody else we could have
pack.
on. He is a freaking Canyon Lake, Lake Travis.
Choke Canyon, is that what it's?
No, every time I've been there with him, and it's been phenomenal. I've been there with him twice.
But is that the name of the place? Choke Canyon Lake or Canyon? Kevin, if you're still on here, is that where y'all went that you caught all those big fish? He may not be on here.
My buddy Jerry says the fish are biting on Logan. He's also Jerry is actually tying jigs while he's watching us tonight.
I've heard that before. Anyway, I'll check in.
Eddie Evans, no watching. He's got some bait makers watching with us tonight, making their own stuff.
All right, so, but yeah, if you will,
yeah, Brian, send us.
Brian, if you'll send us your information, shoot Philip or me a message, or shoot the page a message. Give us your.
Matter of fact, Brian, I'm probably going to go ahead and text you.
Yeah, give us your address and we'll get you your gift pack out.
The Lunker Lodge is available for a podcast next Thursday, but you're going to be gone, aren't you?
No, we're doing it at my house next Thursday.
That's right.
Because I'm leaving Friday. I have to go to Atlanta Friday. We're staying down there.
We're going to do a travel lifestyle is what we're going to do from your house, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do the travel.
Yeah, we're going in the camper.
We're going to experiment with the on like random location type thing in the travel trailer. That'll be fun.
So I figured
Jamie said we are more than welcome at the Lunker Lodge anytime, or the back porch. We both have phenomenal views of the lake. Probably pretty good acoustics from either one, to be honest. But now that the water's coming up, man, that sunset right behind you. That's
Well, the
gonna
days are
be.
getting longer. We could have done it today. We'd have froze to death. Yeah, next week we'll be live from my house, actually from our camper outside, because with any luck, both my kids will be asleep by the time we do this. So maybe we'll have something good to eat before we go on next week. But yeah, Friday we're leaving, going to Atlanta. I figured I might want to spend some time with my wife before I leave for a week of fishing. And do the
And be sure to tell her I do
outdoor
appreciate her patience
shopping,
with us as we
yeah.
get this going, because I know it's tough on you guys.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice to get away for a night. I don't travel as much as I used to.
Well,
we've kinda
I mean,
got-
COVID kind of.
Yeah, COVID really did have a big. We had a call today, a meeting with one of the companies I rep, and they talked about how COVID has affected our industry because you can't not. It's the elephant in the room. You can't ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular company has to do with camping stuff. When what we saw 3 years ago is if you didn't camp when you were a kid, if your parents didn't take you, you didn't get into it when you got older. It just didn't happen. And now there are more people between the ages of 25 and 35, which is your money spenders on that kind of stuff, getting into camping.
Well,
And
they
they're
got
buying.
tired of being in the house.
Yeah, they didn't want to be in the house. So what you couldn't go to a movie theater, you couldn't go to a mall, you couldn't go to a bar. What are you gonna do? You go camping or you go fishing. How many new people did you have come in last year and say, my kid wants to catch a fish, what do I need?
I
A
had
cube
the
of crickets
same-
and an Aberdeen hook.
I had this same exact conversation earlier today. I literally got to meet people short of Alaska and Hawaii. I literally met somebody from every single state last year during the pandemic because they didn't care that they had an 18-hour drive.
No,
It felt like 2 hours to them because they were getting out of the house. And that's what
getting to do something.
Granted, it has put a bind on the industry right now, but everybody's adjusting accordingly and starting to get caught up. But
Yeah.
I love every second of it. Like, my voice is actually kind of hoarse from all the people I've talked to this week, from
Yeah.
all the people coming in from these past couple tournaments.
And it's different for reps because we spend a lot more time on the phone now than we did 2 years ago.
Well,
Because 2 years ago we were in the store more often. Now we get more phone calls because we're not out on the road. It's just different. And traveling is different.
a lot different. The one thing I'm interested to see this year, and I think you might even agree with me on this, ICAST, which is two of your and I's
Oh yeah, it's a big week.
biggest weeks of the year, next to the Pittman Creek Show or the Big Rock Show or whatever it may be. But ICAST is like, I don't know what to compare it to, the Super Bowl of
Well, it's like a
fishing
shot
stuff.
show of fishing.
Okay, there you go, perfect. But this year we'll be interested to see. I don't think it's going to be in that big auditorium. I think they're going to have to downsize because I don't think you're going to have a lot of.
See, I think the opposite.
You think it's going to be larger?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of the foreign companies there that we don't have.
Maybe not the okay. Well, that part of it I could see. The attendees, I don't see. The Pittman Creek Show
Everybody's
last
wanting
fall.
to go at this point just
Yeah,
because we
they wanna
haven't
go.
done it. We
We
want to
haven't
shake hands and bump fists and
Last fall,
mask or no mask, whatever
the
it may
Pittman
be.
Creek Show was the most attended show they've ever had.
And it was actually downsized. Or no, it
There
wasn't
were less-
downsized. There
There
wasn't
was
quite as
less.
many.
There were less
but it
vendors,
was.
but there were more customers. So I think that could be the case at ICAST. All of the companies that I represent that normally go are full steam ahead.
And I know a lot of
We're
y'all
going.
watching don't get to attend ICAST, but we always try to cover it.
Well, we're gonna have some lives from there. We've got a.
What if we can do a podcast?
We're going to have a live podcast from one of our booths with a bait that will not be released until we cover it live.
Wait a minute. Are you holding out on me again, or was that one I've already seen?
No, that's one you've already seen.
No.
This must be an old video because that was a video of Michael and Buddy's truck.
Oh, you're looking at the homepage.
So we will have some live from there. There's going to be a lot of companies that don't come out with new stuff this year.
No, but
because-
there's a lot of stuff that they were working on for last year that they didn't really get to
Yeah. That's one of that's part
This
of
way.
it. That's but
I know
there's,
APCO will.
there's also companies that have had so much growth in the past 2 years, or the past it'll be 2 years at that point since we last had iCast, that there's really no point in releasing new product because we won't be caught up and until 2022.
Well, rumor has it that PowerPole's been holding out for iCast again to drop a bombshell. I don't know how true it is.
Maybe they're going to make an electric one. I don't understand why somebody doesn't make a power pole style that is electric to eliminate the pump.
I've heard it's beyond the pole.
Yeah, put one on the front of the boat. That'd be the way to go.
I've heard it's beyond the pole and it's going to blow people away. I don't know, but I know the
we'll
crew
see.
at Power Pole. They're a great group
I've
of
got a
guys.
couple of buddies down there. They're good folks.
And so whatever they got coming out, I want to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that is.
There are some major players. This is not anybody I'm associated with, but major players in the outdoor industry that have told their big customers, we will not be whole until March or April 2022. 12 months out.
Well, that's what another company told us, and now they've kind of had to push back again due to their chemical plastisol supplier issue.
Tough.
And that's affecting not just them; it's affecting several companies.
There's a lot of companies that are. Luckily, with American Bait Works, we are not in that boat. If you need plastic baits, American Bait Works is stocked and ready to go.
Well, that's actually something.
There are some
once
companies
we went off camera, we'll have to discuss as well.
that we still don't have the.
No, I know we don't have
Super
the 9S.
T-Mac.
Yeah, that one I'm not worried about. That.
But yeah, it's definitely affecting some companies. It's affecting not only large companies but small mom and pop operations. That make small batch plastics.
And I know we've already discussed a bunch of this stuff, but I had several people this week say that they've seen the selection in our store better than a lot of them they've gone into. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from any of these other stores like GTO or Scottsboro or anybody. They're all doing what they can. And they're like, well, we've gone to Bass Pro, we've gone to Academy, we've gone to Cabela's, we've gone to wherever, and they're bare. And I said, well, here's the difference between my store, Scottsboro, GTO, whatever it may be. Here's the different Marks, any of those stores. We buy it by the case, whereas Big Box buys it by the truck. And if they can't get it by the truck,
They don't buy it.
they're not going to touch it.
Yeah, and they also don't have. I mean,
That's
you
where
go in.
small businesses are blessed.
You go in Marks, GTO, Scottsboro, McKee Outdoors, Dayton Boat Dock. Your big player in our, in a 2-hour drive from here, your big players, they're all fully stocked because
but it's been challenging.
It's challenging
at the end of the day
because they have reps that get them product. You have 3 or 4 distributors that get you product.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot more avenues to get product in the door than Bass Pro, who basically buys direct. They buy from the company, and if they can't get 60 of something, then they don't buy it. And their distribution is just a lot different. Not to rag on the big box guys, but your local tackle store is going to have the best selection right now, hands down. I mean, it's not even close.
The upside, like a perfect example, Matt McKee.
Oh, Matt's
Fishes
going to
all
beat
the
the
time.
bushes.
Fishes all the time, though. Knows the fishing industry inside out.
Yeah,
Michael-
he's around fishing. He's about like us. He fishes about.
He fishes a Tuesday nighter when he can.
Yeah, now they have the Monday night.
Well, him and his dad
Yeah.
work really hard to keep that store.
Yeah.
And they do a phenomenal job. Just like Michael.
Yeah, they work at it.
Michael knows fishing inside and out. All right, he fishes the pro circuit. He fishes the BPT, and which is one reason why I finally moved up here was because he spends so much time away. It's hard for him to try to do this stuff on the road.
Yep.
And me, I'm a behind the scenes guy, just like you're technically a behind the scenes guy, and you have to know the industry to sell the industry. And that's a big thing. Is and granted, I've got one of the greatest staffs ever at the store. Some of them don't fish, but they've been there long enough that they've asked questions and they have learned it. And that's a big part of it as well. You've got to learn it. You can't just pop up and be like, I want to sell fishing tackle. You can't just do that.
Yeah, we've been down that road with reps before. We've seen that happen. But like we said, what we said on previous episodes, support your local tackle store. They're gonna have the best selection. You're gonna get the best price, and
but don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna go.
They're gonna try to get you what you want as quick as they can.
Absolutely, and don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna go to a Bass Pro if I'm near one, just because I've loved doing that since I was a kid.
Yeah, I just want to see the fish in there.
Yeah, you know, I want to go to the restaurant or something. I want to go, you know, get some Uncle Bob's hard candies or whatever they are. You know, but,
Uncle Bucks.
Uncle Bucks. But that's what it is.
So
Jerry says I like to buy fishing tackle.
Well, that's about all we got for tonight. Like I said, this week's Tackle Store of the Week, Gunnersville Tackle. If you're in Gunnersville, go by and see Paul. Nick runs the store down at the Browns Creek, the original location. Paul's up at Waterfront most of the time. If they don't have what you're looking for, they probably don't make it anymore.
Well, that's our saying here at the store. If we don't have it,
next week we'll have a more thorough recap of what happened with the 3 major trails fishing this week. One thing we don't have this week is an open going on. As far as I think there's a Bass Nation, but there's no open going on. Happy Earth Day, everybody, and don't forget to wear your life jacket, or you will get kicked out of a tournament and you will lose $2,500. So that's your closing thought for tonight. Thanks, guys.
We're not gonna quit topping on that one. Y'all have a great one.